We could watch the downward spiral, the complete downward of Edward Centeno from Arcade Craniacs. Is that how you say it? And this is from Bill's. I like Bill's stuff. Get some pretty poggers stuff. Okay. Let's get it going.
Ago, I had a mini series where I looked at horrible 3am challenge YouTube channels. Some channels didn't make the cut during that series that only lasted throughout October, and that was fine. I was going to look at these other channels at another time. But the channel that was going to be excluded from both times I talked about these 3am channels was Arcade Craniacs. The biggest reason why was because the channel was pretty much a meme that was self-aware with its content. The channel was made up of two people, true. Edward and Nicole. They would create Arcade Craniacs in 2017, and their channel would really explode in 2020 when the two would upload this video titled 24-Hour Overnight in Chuck E. Cheese Arcade. This video would give the channel direction into the creepier and more cringier side of YouTube, and that side of the platform was 3am challenge videos. The channel would grow to over 3 million subscribers as of today, but since Nicole and Edward broke up almost half a year ago, the channel has fallen off in views. Today we're going to take a deep dive into the dark side of Arcade Craniacs, the serious allegations against Edward, and
yeah, I think that's probably the reason why I fell off, because of those allegations against Edward, which I remember like watching that stuff, dude. To be honest with you, it boiled down to, in my opinion, an incredibly toxic relationship where like Edward was the worst person. But like, dude, people were throwing in like words like grooming and stuff. You know, he was 23 and she was 17, but like not everything is like, listen, they were in California, so it's like illegal. So like, good, arrest them. I don't care about that. But I don't think culturally you'd consider that like a grooming age scenario. Like I don't think that you know what I mean? I really just wouldn't. He seemed really shitty though. He seemed like a really shitty person, I'll tell you that. Like he seemed kind of abusive, honestly. There seemed to be like back and forth with some of that, but like I think, you know, people talk about like reactive abuse and stuff. One thing, like, yeah, I mean, it was shitty, honestly. I think like it's good that Nicole got out of the situation and she finally like broke up with him and like stayed broken up, because I know that she talked about how like she would break up with him and then he would like cry, be like, please get back together with me. One of the really fucked up things he did, I think, though, was like he slept with her when he wanted to get back with her, and then like took off the condom, I think, something like that. Maybe Bills will probably go into it, but that's like really fucked up, because that's like he was trying to trap her in there. Real piece of shit garbage.
in the eventual breakup and departure of Nicole.
Where am I supposed to go here?
Arcade Craniacs would upload their first video on August 2nd, 2017, just a little under a month since Edward would create the channel. Arcade Craniacs started out as a couple channel that would go to different arcade machines and would film them either winning a prize or ending the video empty-handed. Honestly, I have no clue how they even got views off of this content. I know it's a very small niche, but still it was very low quality, and they really didn't put that much effort into their videos at first. Their views would slowly start to climb, with some videos hitting around 10,000 views, with others exploding in views, like this video, and also this video. Mostly because...
Ooh, yeah, but say, what a surprise. The ones where she shows her ass, like where they sexualize her, like blew up in views. Oh lord.
Anything that's sticking out in the thumbnails, which happens to be Nicole. This would be...
It's so interesting though, like what can actually get you views on YouTube, where it's like crazy how sometimes people are really just like looking for a watch. Like they don't even necessarily care what the video is per se. So if you can get them with like a thumbnail or something, like, or like clickbait, they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm all over this. That's just nuts to me, bro. That's probably why people clickbait so much. I think that that kid behind the camera thing does that a lot, where he just like clickbaits everything. Like, I just shitted and farted. And then people are like, yeah, I'm watching that. I want to watch a grown man shit and fart, you know? But it's just crazy what people will watch. For me, like, I feel like if I get like hardcore clickbaited on a video, I turn it off almost immediately. Like, I'm probably, that's probably not a, like, that's probably something that most people don't do. They're just like, I'm just trying to watch. Like, I feel like a lot of people just put YouTube on while they do something. Like, they go on TikTok on their phone, or they're doing like work, or they're like playing a game or something, which is what I will do sometimes. So
where it all started to click for Edward. He saw the strategy of clickbait and ran with it. He would use Nicole as his thumbnails to pull in more views with every upload. With Nicole as a thumbnail, he knew that he could gain a fan base centered around Nicole's looks. We will come back to that later on in the video. These arcade and carnival game videos would last for a while until lockdown happened in 2020. This is where things started to change for Arcade Craniacs. With the lockdown in full swing and businesses closed, it would be very hard for the duo to go out and play arcade games. This was a very big issue because the foundation of this channel was all about these two going to different claw machines to get content. With all the businesses closed, they were no longer able to get that content. The two would upload this video where they would talk about how every arcade in their area would be closed due to the lockdown, and that they wouldn't know when they would be able to visit another arcade after that video.
There's no one here. At this time, there'd be kids swarming Chucky.
You know what's, I know this is like a really weird thing, but I never really thought about it. I remember that there's like a thing I remember reading people were like really depressed in the lockdown. A lot of people couldn't work, they couldn't go out, they couldn't do activities, and I'm pretty sure I read a study where like domestic abuse cases went up like drastically. Like people were financially stressed, which is like, it's a hot take, but not really a hot take. Like when people are more financially stressed, like domestic abuse tends to go up. And like all these factors, and I wonder if those were factors in like some of the negatives of their relationship. It doesn't make it okay what Edward did to her. I'm just like wondering.
People holding tickets, people eating pizza as they're playing their games, not thinking about germs. But what we want to do, we want to talk about the whole gist of this whole coronavirus destroying arcade businesses and the arcade community on YouTube. It's a very sad thing.
So they had to make a change. The two would start to experiment with new videos alongside the remaining claw machine videos that they had pre-recorded. They would do unboxing videos, couple challenges, and then they would hit their jackpot. Chuck E. Cheese would file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, and that was one of the biggest topics during the summertime in the early stages of the pandemic. Edward saw this.
I remember they were saying that they would like recycle pizza or something. That's what I remember. They would recycle pizza. Well, I don't give a fuck. I'll eat recycled pizza. I don't give a shit.
With the last Chuck E. Cheese
Bro,
video.
I have to have a kid just to go to Chuck E. Cheese. I think there's still one by me, like in my area. I'm not 100% sure though.
And saw another opportunity to gain views on his video. After this first video, Arcade Craniacs would upload around 55 other videos on Charles Entertainment Cheats. These videos
are they selling the food under a different name? What is that on? Like Grubhub or something? Because I'm pretty sure they do like shadow businesses on Grubhub or whatever, Uber Eats, where like you can order from Billy's Bungalow Burger, but like it's really just like fucking like the local diner, and they just call it like Billy's Bungalow Burger because it sounds cooler. You know what I mean? Shit like that. Is that what it is? Is that how they're selling their pizza? I wouldn't doubt it. That's fucking crazy though.
Catch the eye of one of the biggest commentary channels on YouTube. Charlie would react to Arcade Craniacs videos on his channel, giving them a spotlight of interest for people that didn't know of this channel.
Nice.
This would give them some hate, but even negative publicity helps out a channel like theirs. Just like on Jay Station's channel, where he faked his girlfriend's death for some views, and ultimately it still paid off. This publicity would blow up their channel, and they would also start to gain a lot of traction on TikTok, and it seemed like I couldn't swipe through my For You page during 2020 without stumbling across an Arcade Craniacs video. The channel Arcade Craniacs was at the top of their popularity and would collab with other content creators in their niche. But when you build your foundation out of sand opposed to concrete, the more you build on that sandy foundation, the more unstable your foundation becomes. And just as quickly as Arcade Craniacs explode in popularity, they would fall just as quick. In October of 2021, the fans of Arcade Craniacs would be hit with some shocking news. Edward would go on live on his Instagram and would start crying and explaining that the two broke up a month ago and how he never saw the true value in Nicole and how he mistreated her.
I'm a crap human, dude. Like, I don't deserve nothing in life. I don't deserve nothing, dude.
You know what's true? You know what's funny, rather? It's probably true, but like the way that he's saying it, it sounds like it's like a sympathy ploy. Like, it's one thing to be like, hey, listen, like, I'm kind of shitty and, like, it could be difficult to be with or whatever, and, like, I did shitty things. But the way that he's saying it, it almost sounds like he's trying to get, and I could be wrong, but it sounds like maybe he's trying to get, like, ahead of it or some shit. Or that, like, he's trying to say it in a way that's like, oh, we know, oh, we know you killed those 5 guys, but you're sorry. You know what I mean? I wonder if that's, like, it kind of feels like a little bit performative. Like, the crime, maybe it's probably partially performative, partially real, but... Look at that snoot.
She's Nicole is like the most amazing woman in the world, dude. I fucking love her, dude. She's such a fucking genuine soul, such a nice person. She's such a nice person, dude.
I remember when they would break up, he would like constantly like harass her and say shit like this. Like, you're such a good person. Like, please come back to me. I wonder if that's like another factor where this is just like a public way for people to be like, oh, he's sorry. You should get back with him. You know?
And I messed everything up in the beginning of our relationship, dude.
In an attempt to get sympathy from his audience, and as a result, people felt really bad for Edward and would end up attacking Nicole because she didn't want to get back together with Edward, and the fans of Arcade Craniacs saw that Nicole moved on from Edward. The two would go back and forth on Instagram, with Nicole putting a lot of screenshots onto her story, and as a result, Edward would respond on his own Instagram story saying that she was lying and that she was irrelevant without Arcade Craniacs. Here's his compilation of videos that he put up onto his story.
Yeah, there you go. Basically, like, he was saying that to get attention, to try to make her look bad, and then she's like, hey, well, you know, you're kind of a douchebag, and then he's like, and he goes instantly, you see how the tone shifts? Instantly on his Joker arc now.
I cannot believe what the fuck I just read on Nicole's story, making the worst fake fucking accusation about me. Now, I have not even talked about her in fucking months so we can move on with our fucking lives, but she always has to bring my fucking name up so she could be relevant because she's irrelevant now. I legit have proof on the next story to show you that it's all bullshit. You can't believe everything on the fucking internet. Fuck that shit, dude.
I don't think it was much of an exposed, but
And you know what? You know what's the most fucked up thing? Is that a lot of you guys have no idea what happens behind the scenes when we broke up. Has she called me saying that she misses me, how much she loves me, how she did the worst decision in her life and break.
I mean, that happens all the time. People break up. That's why like a lot of public like breakup shit shouldn't really be public, because people are shitty to each like in general, and people are like, oh, I want to get back to you. It's pretty normal for people to break up and then like kind of tease it back and forth for a while.
Breaking up with me, I legit have proof, okay?
Okay, who cares? It's a normal
But to her,
breakup thing.
I'm the worst person. And
I
that's
mean,
all
like, hot take. People, I don't know. I notice it more in women, but people are attracted. Some people are attracted to toxic pieces of shit. I don't know what it is, but like that's so like this thing where it's like, oh, she still like has feelings for somebody who is like shitty in a relationship and toxic, and she shouldn't be with. Oh my goodness, what a hot take. Oh my goodness, like, oh wow, that proves everything wrong. Like, oh, relationships are complicated. Oh shit, oh fuck, you know what I mean? Like, holy shit.
she does is talk about me. Only my name. Only my fucking name. Only my name, dude. But I can never show you that, right? I can never show you that we hung out multiple times after we broke up. You know why? Because she's like, no. Don't tell nobody because it's going to make me look weak. Like, what? You know how much I took care of her? You know all the things I've done for her?
Wow, sounds like a relationship.
Literally got made fun of the channel when I made it in the beginning. She was embarrassed of it. When she saw the money come in, now she's not embarrassed of it. I reply to all the fans, talk to all the fans. Even when fans come up to us and talk to us, try to take a picture with us, we have someone over here. I don't know where it cut off right now, but when fans will come up to us, they'll conversate with us, and they'll conversate with me because I'm legit trying to talk to the fans. While after, when they go away, she goes in my ear, she's like, "Can we go? I don't want to see."
So like, who cares? Sorry, the pause this game. Who cares? Like, dude, like these are like dumb things. Now it's like fan shaming. Because not for nothing, but like I like talking to fans too when people like meme me and stuff. I think it's cool, but like sometimes you're just not like in the mood for it. Sometimes you're like, you know what I mean? Or you're not like necessarily in the mood to talk to fans and stuff. So like sometimes it gets overwhelming, and they're like pretty big, so they probably had more people walking up to them being like, "Oh, I know you, I like you." So like, oh my God forbid she's like a little bit like socially burnt out. Like this isn't a fucking insult on her part.
Nobody else. It's like, what? Bro, that's the people that are fucking blessing you. Those are the people that are following you. Those are the people that are watching your fucking videos, and you can't give a moment of your fucking time to the fans? A fucking little kid, bro?
About a week later, Nicole would upload this video titled "I Was Groomed, Hidden in Plain Sight." This video would be an hour and a half long and would have a serious deep dive into Nicole's upbringing.
Yeah, like I said, like dude, it's one of those conversations because she was under 18. I get that. But like, here's the thing. I don't think it's appropriate, their age gap, like whatsoever. It's one of those things where like in society, it's more normal. And a lot of times like on the internet, we do operate with like, we have different perceptions of the world. And so like, I think it's incredibly inappropriate. Absolutely. Do I think it's like grooming, like this intentional, like methodical, like setup for abuse? No, I don't think that was what it is. I think that they both probably thought it was appropriate. She's younger, so obviously like it's not her fault as much as it is his. But like their parents thought it was appropriate. A lot of people thought it was appropriate. And that's something that obviously needs to change. I would call it inappropriate. I wouldn't call it like, it's not grooming. All right. It's not the same exact thing. We like to throw out a lot of buzzwords and shit nowadays. Like when I watched that, she was in like a really shitty relationship where he was like much worse than her. And she was probably a little bit shitty too, but that's like normal relationships. Like the shittier one partner is, the shittier that both partners are going to be overall, because it's like a reactive type of a thing. But I wouldn't say that grooming is like the appropriate tag.
And serious allegations against Edward. I'm going to break down and summarize the most important parts of this video, and I'll add in parts of her video in place of my summary that need more context. So let's begin. Also, before we start, I have to give you all a trigger warning because it does get pretty serious and bad. So if that's something that you don't want to watch, you can skip to the end. Nicole would start this hour and a half long video stating that Edward groomed her when she was 17. She would show evidence that Edward knew she was 17, but continued to still keep a conversation with her over Instagram.
We began talking and flirting with each other on April 6th, 2016. He DM'd me first and we struck up a conversation. He asked me how old I was and I told him the truth. I told him that I was 17. And he initially made a joke saying that he was 16, which I kind of believed because firstly I was so naive and I just couldn't really tell from his profile, honestly. But he clarified after he said the joke that he was indeed 23 years old. And from my perspective, my 17-year-old perspective, it felt cool to be talking to him. It felt cool to be chosen by somebody so much older than me.
Nicole would talk about her very first experience with Edward on their very first date, where Edward would buy her alcohol as a 17-year-old, and she got so drunk that she passed out and woke up topless with only a jacket around her shoulders covering her upper body, because Edward said that she threw up all over herself and that she got so drunk that he thought she needed medical attention, but instead he contemplated dropping her off in front of her apartment complex so that he wouldn't get in trouble for getting a minor alcohol.
I was going out with him and we were drinking together all night. On our first date together, he took me to a park after we went to the liquor store, and he bought a bottle of Peach New Amsterdam and Cactus Cooler. So right after that, we started making out and we walked back to his car. But as soon as I opened up the door and sat down, I blacked out. I completely blacked out. And when I woke up several hours later, all I smelled was just throw up, like the stench of vomit.
I guess that actually
I was
happened,
topless. I had a jacket over my
She probably did throw up all over herself. I don't like that's probably what had happened. I don't know if she's trying to make it seem like there was like sexual assault. I doubt it. Probably, maybe she isn't. But yeah, that's what it sounds like happened.
There's like covering my boobs, and
that's one of those things, man. When like you're an older person, you're like, oh, I can get you alcohol. Like that's for kids. It's so weird. Like alcohol is like pedestalized in our society, and kids are like, oh, that's so cool, can you get me some? And she probably thought it was so cool. That doesn't make it okay that he did that, obviously. Like that's the thing about kids. They're dumb. They think it's cool. Like they think that that's a cool thing. And then it's like, oh yeah, that's cool. And then they go and she drank. She probably really never drank before. And then what happens? Like she gets fucked up. You know what I mean? Some fucked up shit.
I was really confused. I was like, what happened? And apparently I threw up all over my shirt and all over my pants. And so he had taken off my shirt to put the jacket on over it. And by the way, this is something that he would constantly bring up and be like, oh, well, you're so lucky I didn't do anything to you.
Scary.
Anybody else would have.
When Nicole woke up, she
pretty
asked if Edward
creepy.
could go and buy her some new pants because her old ones smelled like throw up, which is reasonable, but he said no. Instead, he would buy her grilled cheese and then drop her off at home. She would state that he would single-handedly but slowly turn her into an alcoholic with how often he wanted to drink with her. This would be the start of some major allegations thrown at Edward, and it would only get worse from here. Nicole would talk about how controlling Edward was when they first started dating and how it would be a recurring theme throughout their relationship.
He never liked me going anywhere where men might be. If men even might be there, I had no business being there because I might cheat, and he knew how guys are.
Nicole would talk about all the times she would sleep over at Edward's house, get so drunk, pass out, and then once she was passed out, Edward would leave to go and sleep with his ex-girlfriend, who he was still obsessed with.
And while he would reiterate to me so many times all these things about his ex-girlfriend that he cheated on me with, the one that's an adult, the one that mocked me as I was a teenager.
Later on, when they started the channel, she would talk about how she felt really uncomfortable when she had to make the thumbnails for the arcade videos because Edward would use her looks to get clickbait thumbnails, but would also criticize her looks at the same time. Nicole said that he would force her to be over-sexualized for the thumbnail to have people click on it, and again, this was in public, where he would force her to retake the thumbnail while people were walking around until Edward felt like it was good enough to be clickable. Now we get to the start of lockdown. Nicole,
I mean, like, see, that's one of those things where it's totally possible that he was really shitty about it, but like, it's also possible that he's like, we should do sexualized thumbnails because they get views, and she's like, oh, okay. And like, when we say the word force, like, that can be different things. I'm just saying, I don't know if she was 17 at the time, though. That would be pretty gross, but you know, I'm not saying it's okay, but I'm saying is like, you know, sometimes we overuse this word force. I'm just bringing it up because they both made money off of that. It was like a mutually beneficial thing. So, but you know,
tells us how she was feeling at her lowest and that she just wanted to get out of this relationship. But with Edward being so controlling and manipulating her, it would be a struggle for her to leave, especially because she had nowhere else to go. Again, I am paraphrasing because Nicole goes more in depth in her video and some of these talking points.
Well, I remember she talked about it, and she actually, there was like this consistent pattern where she was like, I would break up with him. And then like she actually like had a place to go with her sister, and then like Edward would like beg her to come back, and she would go back. And like that's shitty. But like if you were able to disconnect and you only get back because you feel bad for the person, then like, you know, you should just leave. But then I remember he also did other stuff, like where he did like one time, I think he stealthed her. I think that's what happened. I don't know if he talks about it, where like she was like, okay, I'll get back with you, and then she's like, okay, and then like they had sex, but like he took the condom off or something. I could be wrong about that. And I think he said something along the lines of like, I'm trying to get you pregnant, kind of a thing, so that like she would be stuck with him. I think that was like that was the intention. Some fucked up shit.
So if you do want to see her version of it, check the link in the description of this video. This again would leave Nicole feeling trapped. She would speak about how during lockdown, she was able to see the fraud that Edward really was. How he would act like he was in support of the Black Lives Matter movement, but behind closed doors and with the cameras off, he would have a different set of views on the matter.
I'm sorry if this sounds petty,
pretty normal.
but the most egregious part of all of this to me was the fact that he would make fun of me so aggressively for supporting the Black Lives Matter movement, while at the same time posting how he's an ally on his story on Instagram, which goes hand in hand with his entire personality, honestly.
You're just a liberal cringe lord, okay?
Because if you believe anything he's telling you for 1 second, just know that he's a great actor.
Nicole would say that she was taking a trip to New York, but
that's like that's some like weirdly normal shit, bro. Where people are like, I remember during the pandemic, and people were like, I'll give $100 to the black person with the best video. Like somebody said that on TikTok once, and I was like, oh really? I was like, wow, like you're trying to like pay a black person to basically fucking dance for you. Like, how does that not come off as like racist and fucking performative? People do that shit all the time. I don't give a fuck about Black Lives Matter. That's why nobody's talking about it now that like black people aren't in season. And I know it sounds weird, but like the reality is like black people only care about black issues when it's like close to an election cycle, so that they can fucking virtue signal and seem woke. Nobody really gives a fuck about any of this shit whatsoever.
didn't tell Edward that she was going there. And when Edward found out, he acted like he was having a heart attack and would act as if he was dying so that Nicole wouldn't leave.
He literally pretended to have a heart attack, I swear to God. And maybe I'm a little evil for saying this, but it was honestly a little funny. I was standing at my closet getting stuff out, and he kept trying to convince me that Anu is evil, she's brainwashing you, blah, 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 blah. And so I got pissed and I ended up yelling at him. Like I said, it takes a lot for me to yell, but I was yelling. And this is what he did. He went... and he like ran to the bed in the living room and threw himself on it and was like and I just ignored it because I was like, I don't know what the hell to do about this. I have tickets to go to New York tomorrow, so I don't know what to do about this. And so I ignored it. And what do you know? Just a few minutes later, he comes back and acts like it didn't happen.
She would end her video by telling us the reason why she took so long to come out with this video, and it was a very good reason.
So yeah, call me money hungry, but if this video gets monetized somehow, I'm donating the money to something for women that are getting abused. I meant it when I said this is to help people, okay? And I'm not a fucking liar, like some people I know.
After this video, nothing was really said from the both of them, at least not out in the public for their fans to see. There would be a lot of videos made about the subject, but it really didn't hurt Edward's channel. Edward would end up taking about...
Hey, what the fuck, Bills? What the hell, dude? Are you kidding me? Look at this.
To see. There would be a lot of videos made about the subject, but it really didn't hurt Edward's channel.
That was mine right there. He cut it off right before my video. You motherfucker. You piece of shit. You motherfucking asshole. Hold on. Here it is. This is it right here. That's my video. I know by the shitty border that I removed from my videos because it's terrible.
Edward would end up taking about 3 weeks off of Arcade Craniacs, but once he returned, would continue to upload as if nothing happened. This channel would lose 20,000 subscribers, but with a kid audience, he was able to gain those subscribers back pretty easily. Edward hasn't rebranded the channel, and his banner for Arcade Craniacs still features Nicole, which is pretty weird, at least to me. Nicole, on the other hand, took a couple weeks off of her main channel and has...
I wonder why. Why not? I mean, it's difficult to sue somebody for that. It's not like she could be like, I'm going to sue you. Like, it costs a lot of money for fucking scumfuck lawyers. But like, why does he? That's like weird that he uses her likeness for that. That feels bizarre. Like, it feels like against some rule, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Moved on with her life. The most upsetting thing out of this whole situation was the fact that people still supported Edward till this day. Even though his video views dropped immediately after Nicole uploaded her video, he still gained subscribers. Maybe not at the same rate, but it's not like his young fan base understands the severity of the issue at hand. I think this topic and situation died down way too quick.
You know, what's fucking interesting is like like after watching that, like to me it boiled down to like a toxic relationship where he was like really shitty. And I was like, honestly, I wouldn't like fucking consume his content. I didn't really consume it before that, but I remember he was like getting big on TikTok and stuff. I was like, oh, this guy's kind of fun. Maybe I'll start watching his show. But ultimately, I was like, nah. And after that, like, it's too fucked up. Like, he just seems like a scumbag. Like, I don't think that he needs to necessarily be like fucking like canceled. But I was like, nah, he just seems like kind of a shitty, toxic person that I wouldn't support. You know.
Which was absurd to me to see this channel that would get 10 million views off of compilation videos fall out of relevancy so quick with this whole controversy. Anyways, I hope this video explained more of the issues surrounding Arcade Craniacs, and if you were a big fan of them, at least you'd get somewhat peace of mind knowing the truth. This has been the dark side of Arcade Craniacs. If you want to suggest video topics for me to cover in the future, the best way to do so is through Instagram. Follow me there and slide me a DM on who you'd want me to talk about in future videos. Also, we are extremely close to 100,000 subscribers, so do me a favor and leave a like and subscribe to get the channel just a little bit closer towards 100,000 subscribers. Thank you so much.
Well, that was a pretty good video.
Much, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
This is my old channel. That's my old channel. All right, cool shit. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and another special shout out to all my Patreon and Twitch subs. If you'd like to support this channel further than you already have by just watching the video alone, go down to the links below where you can sub on my Patreon, which will allow you to get your name on this beautiful black wall. Or you can go to the Twitch page and you can actually use a free Amazon Prime sub, if you have Amazon Prime, to subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.